Happy after Christmas, like Boxing Day. My name's Eric. I'm making animated faces that you can talk to. And I just took a little Christmas break with my family for a few days. Now, I was working on stuff during my little vacation. I'd get up in the morning while my wife and others were asleep, and I'd fiddle with some stuff and write some notes and plan out in advance, do a little wireframing. So I did that the last few days, and I'll show you what I got up to there. Also, today and last night after I got back, I did a little work. So let's demo that first before I move on to the next thing. Taking this session to work on the next thing, but like always, I start out with a demo. And let me more aesthetically size the window here. Okay, so I already demoed, we've got resizable parts in the last video. And this works pretty friggin' well. And you can actually create a lot of different looking faces even using the same assets. This guy looks nothing like the guy I just had 5 clicks ago. And all the animations still apply with the resizing, and they have some consistency. Okay, but I already demoed that, so let's see what's new. There was a little bug where if you moved off to the side, it would kind of force this into a weird state where you couldn't get back to dragging it again. And now I just made it, if you mouse off past the area that the face is in while you're holding the mouse button down, I'm still got the button down. You could let go out here, and that's fine. It's fine. You just let go of it. It completed the drag, or you could hold on to it and keep holding on to it and come back. So I made that work. And then I thought, well, I'm going to have to get into modal dialogs pretty soon. A modal dialog looks like this. It takes up the whole screen. It doesn't allow you to click on the other UI until you're done with this dialogue. Modal dialogs are great. They're very useful because they allow you to not totally leave where you were at. You're still there. And they let you perform one action or make one decision or process one piece of information. And then as soon as you're done with that, you go back to where you were. It's a very useful concept inside of any application's UX. It's a great way to simplify operations that would otherwise be difficult to take into account all the different things that might change in the middle of you performing that operation. Would say one thing at a time. When you're done with that, you can go back to where you were before. So this has got a cancel and confirm. It's got a primary button with a different color. It's got a title and a description, a consistent UI that I can use across multiple dialogues. You can click on cancel to get out of here. You can also click outside of the dialogue, and that counts not as a click on the buttons underneath, but as a cancel. So I didn't click suspicious. I clicked outside the dialogue, and it just canceled it. I said I did some wireframing. I'll show that. So some wireframing. Sometimes I wireframe as a way to just decide I'm not going to do something. So for a little bit, I was thinking, let's make something that's a cool demo that people can do things with. And the idea behind it was you would import a WAV file or record a message, and the face would be animated. And there'd be some way to export a video to YouTube or elsewhere. So it was supposed to be something kind of like a tool you could make a silly talking face be animated for any message you wanted. So I was going to have that be available to everyone. And I just decided, no, there's enough work in this. It's really a distraction from the main stuff you're trying to get done. I was kind of hoping to come up with something that was quick but worth a visit from people that would be interested in this project. This kind of thing would be worth a visit. Like there'd be some percentage of people that thought, huh, this is neat, I want to play with this. But the amount of work I'd have to put into it just makes it too much of a detour from the main work I'm trying to get done. So I'm like tempted to just delete this, but I'll just move it to the bottom, just in case I change my mind later or want to come back and revisit that. I've updated the face of screen wireframe a little bit. I started thinking, based on like how much you could do with resizing, which I just demoed, that the nose really needs to be its own part. So I added another thing to the wireframe just to kind of see what it would look like. And another thing too is if you have a nose that's rendered on top of everything, then you can be a little bit more permissive with the positioning of the mouth and eyes. So right now, like it might have been kind of nice to move this down here. That's not going to work very well because it's currently drawn over the nose. The nose is part of the head asset, so it has to be drawn behind the eyes. But you can see like the joins here, it lost the black outline of the nose. And then so if I didn't have the nose drawing on top of everything, that's the current state now, I have to maybe adjust a little bit away from where I wanted the eyes to be so that they are not disrupting these lines and making it look bad. But if I have the nose on top of everything, then I could tuck it in much closer. The nose would just kind of bulge out over the eyes there. Same for the mouth. It'd be nice to tuck a mouth under a low drooping nose at times. And also it would be great to be able to resize the nose, because you can get a lot of variety in what the face looks like by resizing the nose. Also, it'd be great to replace the nose. And noses are a very easy asset to add to this, as opposed to eyes or mouth, which are animated. The nose doesn't have to be animated at all. The nose can just be a simple single image with a skin color mask on it. So I do want the nose to be a separate part, and I'll work on that today. Yeah, some little refinements on that. Then I also, coming back to the modal dialogs, I want to come up with a simple modal dialogue that would be used to choose a different part to replace the current one you have. So if you've got, if you're on the faces screen and you've got the eyes selected as is shown here, you can say replace, and then it would take you, or even, you click replace and it would take you to this dialogue, and you pick a new set of eyes, then you come back and they'd be replaced here. But today it's going to be about the noses. Today I'm going to build out functionality for noses. All right, it's time to do some work. All right. This project is starting to get kind of large. Lots and lots of files. Lots of UI, lots of good reusable code. I'm really building out at a production standard at this point. The other stuff I've done earlier in the year was just kind of a quick prototype. But now I'm making decisions along the way where this thing will be able to grow into an app that's maybe 10 times more complex than it is right now. Okay. Part selector. Alright, that gives me the nose right away. I don't think it'll do anything useful when I click on it. In fact, it didn't even save the option. That's kind of nice in a way. Let me see. What is it? Head, then click nose. Yeah, all right. Here, what am I talking about? It's kind of nice. It's halfway built. So let me think. I will have to make the nose part. Let's do one that's simpler as a starting point. Okay, we'll take that one. Nose, add. Man, what a strange thing to look at old code and just wonder what I would, like, it doesn't look like my code to me. I don't remember what I was thinking on this. C# question. Hey, Goose. Changed your handle. Used to be Goose of Wild. I think I'm talking to the same person. Oh, now I remember. Okay. I was loading the head bitmap. It had a mask in it, and I was copying out of the image into two bitmaps. Okay. I have some logic that should be async as it's done on constructor. It's taking a bit longer than expected. So running on a task run, but it's an rsync. Any ideas for pushing onto async from a sync method? I'm thinking about that. I'm loading back in like the C# stuff into my head. Off in the JavaScript and TypeScript land over here. So, okay. The thing that comes to mind is you want like a job queue. And your task just takes from the job queue. But okay, so from your constructor, you could add information about the job into a queue structure. Then you start your task run and it just pops off the queue. But I don't know like which part is giving you trouble though. Like which part is seems to be the real obstacle. Because I don't want to say like something you've already figured out. Yeah, so forgive me for not switching to C#, but just kind of thinking out loud a little bit. If you got a class, goose class, boom, boom. And I'm gonna get the exact syntax wrong, but in fact, I won't even. I'll be inexact because I'm still like coding in JavaScript most of these days. But you have some kind of like word queue. I'm going to be so vague it probably won't be useful to you. But I'll try to add something useful. From Swift. Where is this? Word queue. Push. And then you need like, what's this going to be? Private, like queue, task info, bam, push, and then you create like some task, new task. Now I'm remembering. It's like task info, new task, and then like whatever it is you're doing. So say you were recoloring something. Then you'd say like blue, I don't know, maybe whatever the parameters are for your task. Then you say new task, and that's the thing that can be synchronous. And then you could either start the task run here, or you could do it like in a separate method, like start, but then the task run, it just needs to pull items from this queue. It's not fresh in my mind. Async away, it boggles my mind. Yeah. Will that block the main thread? I don't think so. I don't think so. C# task. Task and C#. Asynchronous program. Execute separate thread. Separate thread. Yeah, sure. It occurs to me that like the thing you're asking about that's blocking you is it's less algorithmic. It's more just details of starting the task that I'm probably not. I don't have it loaded in my head. At this point you probably know more about it than I do. So I will not try too hard to be helpful. I should be asking you questions about C#. All right. Is it really sharp, or is it actually kind of blunt and dull? They're acting like it's so sharp, and I'm dubious about that whole thing, the sharpness of it. Okay, so I don't need to return 2 bitmaps, just return 1. And don't need to do an await because it's just going to return a promise. Load nose bitmap. Don't need the off-screen No, I do need the off-screen context because it's going to be recolored. Okay. Don't need to do the skin mask. I don't need to do anything. No, I do need to do something here. What is it? Let's see. Recolor bitmap. No, this should be fine. This should be fine. Just return the recolored bitmap. Okay. But it's going to be nose bitmap. Render, pretty easy. I'll be happy when I'll get these detachable noses in here. Okay. We're gonna make skinny noses and fat noses and stubby noses just by resizing. I can draw some new noses and start having something to pull in. Just changing those parts. So 2023, this new project, building AAC, interesting application, help kids with speech delays, allow them to use an app to speak for them, whilst also helping them learn to speak. Interesting. What does AAC stand for? Assisted augmented communication. So, what is the UI like for that? Are there like a collection of buttons that? Is it like a typewriter? Okay. Clip art buttons. So that seems like if you were using images, you'd be kind of limited in what could be expressed, but maybe it's like for kids at an earlier stage of vocabulary. I'm making guesses to kind of learn and picture what it is you're creating. I'm intrigued by it. Trying to picture what the app is like, and it's quite all right, if there's some trade secrets or secret sauce you want to not spill. But I'm picturing something like a soundboard, where you might click on a button with an image and then it would say the thing. Like if you're hungry, you press a button that shows some food, and then does it? Okay. Please do. Yeah. It might overlap with stuff I'm doing too. I don't know. Okay. Copy the link address. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so just kind of looking at it a little bit. You've got categories along the top, and they may change the buttons that are underneath. No, all these have got little arrows that indicate they're going off to maybe another area. So then if you click on one of these, then it goes to probably another screen that's got more detailed buttons that you can click. And then I'm guessing if you click on one of these other buttons that's maybe down one level, it'll populate the words up here. Lilu. All right, Lilu. Lilu app. Okay, let me take a look. Okay, do I understand it right? It's going to speak out loud with the message that the user provides. Oh, so okay. Here's where I'm confused. Is it? It's for communicating in the moment, but it's also for teaching yourself. So maybe you could use it either way. Like if you were just using it to communicate, you couldn't help but learn a little along the way if you were trying to. But for some people, maybe they don't get around to the learning. They just use it to communicate. Yeah. Here's one thing I'd ask you. Like, what about doing it from a website? Because if it's a website, you can have all the audio functionality and everything. Maybe the app's nicer and simpler, though. The app might be a lot simpler and nicer. Never mind. I'll show you one thing from my code base that's open source if you ever want to reuse it for your app. Okay. So your app, whatever it's called, Goose app, at some point it'll have spoken audio emit from it. Okay? So I wrote an algorithm that will take any speech audio, detect like the words inside of it, and create lip animations. So suppose you wanted to have, like, while it was speaking, show like a mouth moving.
We can push it. We can push it.
It might be a nice little bit of fun for the user. It might make that user feel like they were part of the talking a little bit more, and it might give them like a nice little cue to how their own mouth might move.
We can push it.
But yeah, I've got like a open source library that has this algorithm in it. Yeah, so you can take like any speech audio. Yeah, so I've got two open source libraries. They are like TypeScript based, so you'd have to port or you'd have to switch over to web, which I don't think you want to do. But
Billy, you must.
Yeah. Yeah. So the link is, here, let me see. GitHub.com, 2000. And then let's see, repositories. Got SL Web Face, that's for animated faces. SL Web Speech is the one that's got this this code in it that will let's see, what's it? Trying to point you more directly to that algorithm in case you want to use that. Lips generation util. Yeah. C#'s a pretty easy port for TypeScript. I've definitely gone the other direction a number of times on this project. So lips generation util, which is an export of the library. And there's this generate lips text from audio buffer. And if you're in C#, then you're just getting the samples from your audio clip is Unity, but you're getting the samples basically, and the sample rate. That's all that's passed into audio buffer, and then it just does all the work there. All right. Anyways, I will paste that into chat. If there's something there that is helpful to you, it makes me happy. All right. This is going to be Nova's part type. Take out those guys, they're not being used. down to here. Oh, part loader util. I gotta hook that up to nose. Okay, so this is gonna be I think that's probably it. So then let's revise my assets. Okay, Billy head, PSD. Is this guy here? Okay, so I will need to take this nose, bring it into a different file. Okay, come back over to the head, and we just get rid of the nose. Save that. Export that. Gonna get it inside of the web. Okay, override Billy head here. Okay, come back to the nose. Now I just need to mask this out. Wonder how I can do it with the magic wand. Let's do tolerance lower. One's lower. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. Crop this in a little bit closer. All right, save that. Boom. Okay, then. Yeah. Then let's drop a new part here for the nose. I need to create a YML file for it. Let's go take a look at that. That's good. It removed the nose. I wanted it to do that. Okay. YML file. So come back to here. Go to the public. Parts. Let's do. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose you've got an advantage that there's some other apps out there that you can see what they use for categories. It seems like that would be some fundamental research to come up with good categories that were useful to people. It's an interesting type of app to make. Okay, let's do file, and this is going to be Billy knows.yml. Part type nose. Let's build face. Make sure that's still working. npm run build. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I know a family where they had 2 kids that were autistic. One was pretty high functioning, and the other one, Brian, like he couldn't say anything. Like maybe every once in a while he might get like one word out or something. I wonder if he has ever tried one of these apps. Because he'd get really upset too, and you wouldn't know what he was upset about. I suppose there might be a chance that, like, if he was able to say what was upsetting him, that he wouldn't have gotten so angry, you know. This poor mom, like, she is, like, broke, and this kid would just tear up his pants. They'd get him some new pants, and then he'd get upset and he'd rip his pants, and then she had to get more pants for him, and yeah, it was just horrible. Yeah, I could see like a category that's just problem, or saying that you're frustrated, but like here's why, you know? Yeah, it's probably worth something just for somebody to say, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm sad. But to be able to say the reason why, maybe that's really large for some people. I don't know. Nice. Okay, so I built that. Got the nose part type. Then I go to my faces, and we've got this new part now to load. Parts, Billy Nose, YML. And I don't expect this to work first try, but it's possible. That did work first try. I just can't select it yet. Okay, cool. So the next thing is just to add in back into the UI the stuff that would allow me. I can pick it? I can pick it? I can move it? Ah, so weird. It's like my code is working before I've done all the things to make it work. Can I resize? Okay, so it is a little hard to select it when there's other stuff right next to it. I can resize, okay. Okay, it might be a little annoying to have it always clicking. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So it seems to me that if this guy is underneath another part, it's just going to be really hard to be able to click it. I can use the stuff up here to get to it again. But I would think I'll need something like, if you've already got something selected and you click again, that it goes and checks what's the next thing that it would match it. And also it should favor dragging what you already have selected. Boy, there's a lot of extra logic to dragging and clicking on things to implement. I never realized how complex it was until I tried to write it myself. But I do love being able to resize the nose and get a lot of different faces that way. Okay, cool. Alright, so now before I get into all that selection logic, I should get this stuff working. Let me see how well my undo is working with the nose. Is it already? Yeah. It's all hooked up. I just gotta get this to work. Man, I love it when I write a piece of code and it just starts working for other cases. I barely had to do anything to get that nose going. Barely anything at all. Let's see. By what means did you send me a link? Was it Discord, email? Oh, Twitch. Twitch, you sent it via Twitch. Okay. Yeah. I just get nonsense from random people on Twitch. Okay, let me know if you need a username or a link or anything. I can't remember if we already did it on Twitch or Discord before. Let's see. Actually, you're sending me something privately, so I'm not going to bring it up on the web or on the stream necessarily. Okay. Let's see. So, head, eyes, mouth, nose. And this guy, I want its initial position to be better. Okay, I will go to Discord. I'm going to go to Discord on my extra screen that's not streaming. Logging into Discord. Logging in. And let's see. Okay, here's me on Discord. I'm gonna paste it. There we go. I don't know why it's all black text. Okay, let's bring it over. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see. 50. 70, 80. I see the Goose of Wild. Okay. All right. I think you're added and you can send me stuff. Cool. Okay, I do get a payload. Let's see. If this stuff is not private, I will bring it over to the other screen. Right, you just got to tell me if it's okay or not. It's live, but yeah. Is there anything private about what you're sending me there? Okay. But yeah, it came up just fine. All right, yeah. Here is the JSON. Hosting from Azure. Azure. Cool. All right. All right, just want a good default starting point for that nose, so it would come in well. Okay. Okay, selection up here. So part selector. Nose, it's going to get passed on change. Part type, nose is here. Okay, so then if I go back to my screen, oh, there's a little bit here that I need to do. Okay. Need to make a nose selection pane. But what about the on change? On part type change, next part type set revision. Okay, so that means it's going to be on interactions. Head, create face document head, undefined, revision manager, add changes, bum, bum, bum. Find canvas component for part type. That's the one. Okay. Case, part type, nose. Is it as simple as that? Huh. Okay. Well, I like that. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. So let's see. Does it look okay for me to nestle the eyes in behind the nose? Yeah, I think it'll be fine. Okay. This is doing pretty well. Okay, now I gotta think about this selection stuff. Okay, let me think. What do I want the rules to be? What do I want the rules to be? suppose I'm starting with the head, and I click in a place where it could be either the eye selected or the nose selected. I think one thing is to have the default be based on what's foreground. So I prefer it if I click right here that it pick the nose first. It'll pick the eyes now. I can change that pretty easily. Okay, the next thing is if it's already selected and you click on it a second time, I want it to look for the next component that would be selectable. The eyes. And you click again and it would go back to the nose. Those two rules on their own I think might solve everything. Okay, so the first one I'll do, it's pretty easy. I just have to go in reverse order from what I'm doing now. Good. Part authoring, part UI manager, track part, find part at chords. We do part I equals part count minus 1, part I is greater than equal 0. And part I is going to go down instead of up. Okay, so if I do that, then if I click here, I think the nose is going to be first. Oh, no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. It's not working at all. Okay. Oh, because the head, it's getting the head each time? That could be it. But I can fix that. Let's see. What is squiggling? What, no nose part type? No, this is a false squiggle. Okay. In it. Okay. So I'm adding the head there, but I can add it at the beginning instead. Then it should just be in reversed order. So click here. Yeah, nose first. Then the eyes. Nose first. Okay, that's good. Still click the head? Yep, okay. So the next thing is an extra click will select a different part that also overlaps the click area. But I'll need to do it on the mouse up as opposed to the mouse down. Oh boy, this might be a little bit tricky. It's not the selection of the other part, it's distinguishing between the combination of mouse move, mouse down, mouse up that would be used for a drag as opposed to just an in-place click choosing something else. Because as soon as I do mouse down on something, it's ready to drag. When I let go, if I haven't moved from the original location, then I don't want to interpret it as a drag. I want to interpret it as select something else at this exact mouse coordinate that also matches. It isn't what's currently focused. Okay, got it. It's not that hard, actually. I thought it might be, but I don't think it. Nah, it's gonna be okay. Part UI Manager, mouse up. And once you built the next part, once built, the next part start allowing multiple languages on the endpoints. Yeah. What are you doing for your audio? For your speech audio? Are you using audio clips or are you using speech synthesis? Yeah, I think that makes sense. Text to speech is nice to just get going, without having to worry about getting the assets, but voice acting is just a lot better, particularly if you're going to do your emotions. Speech synthesis won't give you good emotions. If you want your app to have a fun feel to it, yeah, I think you're right to get someone to record. I'm sure you can find people, but if you want any names of good voice actors, let me know. I've worked with a whole bunch. Yes. Yeah. That's a great idea. So it's like even like the very best speech synthesis that I've heard, like it kind of sounds right, but it's not fun, It's like
The Art of Writing Amazing REST APIs, originally posted September 2021 on the Split blog. When writing APIs, REST, short for Representational State Transfer, is considered the standard, and yet, REST itself is an act.
Like for me, that's kind of state of the art speech synthesis. It's very good. Like I don't mind listening to an article like that, but there's no emotion in it. It's not fun, Like your app might be better received if it's more fun. You've got like real voice acting in it. So yeah, I definitely recommend what you're already going to do. Ooh, I got little messages. Yay. Okay. All right. Boom. I mean, Yeah. Um,
Maybe it's easy to grab the present.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that world. Um, sounds interesting though. Okay, let's see. So I've got the nose. Getting clicked first. I have to do the thing where what's the best way to do this? I can put inside of on complete move. At that point, yeah, okay. Let's do this. This operation type equals none. And we'll do where is the code I already had? Here it is. How to write what to call this method? Set focus to next part at chords, or break it up into two things. Const next focus part equals find next part of chords, and then we'll go mouse up. Let's see, head, and then the currently selected part, and then mouse up X, mouse up Y, and this, set, focus, next focus part. Okay, like that. Okay, this all feels like it could be encapsulated. So handle next part focus if applicable, not as needed. And then we'll pass in the event. The event. Nah, I'm not going to encapsulate any further. Just leave it like that. Okay, has part dragged. That's an easy one to write. But let's put it in here. Okay. Export function has part dragged. All right, sounds awesome, buddy. Good luck. Yeah, feel free to give me updates on your project later. I like it. I don't need mouse up X, mouse up Y. I can just do the I can look at the operation. Say previous X. Okay. Come back to here. From the move operation, we will say we import has part dragged. You must write this. Okay. All right. Let's take this and put this over in track parts. Find export function. Find the next part. Chords. Focus part. Okay. This is not very dry. Bob Ross, good to see you back. The Bob Ross of a specific NVIDIA card. Busy on what? So you went to a restaurant and there was some wait staff there, and you took them into the walk-in cooler and you tied them up to a chair, thereby securing the server. And then you proceeded to draw calming portraits of NVIDIA graphics cards to your captive waitstaff. What kind of server are you talking? Like API server? Like REST server? Web server? Linux server. Oh, okay. Yeah. Just you saying those words triggers me. It's not your fault. It's the world's fault. Supply chain attacks. Good God. There must have been a better way to do it than what we have. I guess what I mean is you got something like a Linux server and it's built upon the work of 10,000 projects. Something crazy like that. It would be thousands of projects, all by different groups of people with their transitive dependencies. And it just takes one asshole someplace to say, you know what, my library that everyone uses tomorrow, it's going to have some negligent code in it or malicious code in it. And then you have a 0-day attack. Just that simple. Just by all this code you import. I don't have any good answers to it. What I do is probably the same thing you do. Just update the libraries and get them to the latest version. And like when you hear about a vulnerability, patch a little bit faster. But, God, it's horrible. Okay, find next part of chords. That would probably do it right there. I'm just kind of iffy about, do I want to refactor? I think I will. Let's do it. Find part, chords, and then it'll just be basically all this stuff. Well, kind of all this stuff. Honestly, I could do nope. Okay. How you were gonna do it was the right way. Okay, we'll take this. No. Okay. Down here. Over here. Return next part, focus part, like that. Okay, come back to here. Okay, this will be this track parts, this focus parts, yeah, okay. So then if we say hold on, what's that? Okay, so this is going to be component, yeah, like that. Okay, if next focus part is not equal to the current focus part, then that. This might work on the first try. Although that would not have worked. So let's do that. Okay. So the logic gets trickier. Kind of works, but it's focusing on a new thing on the mouse down, and then the mouse up causes it to change to another thing. His eyes are moving a lot because I haven't reloaded the page in a while, and there's extra chains going on, so let's come back. Okay. So the logic is more like, if your initial click did not change the focus, then a mouse up should be interpreted as finding the next component of the same clicks. But if your initial click caused a change in components, yeah. Okay, yeah. Boy, there's a fair amount of logic to all this. Okay, so if I come back to move operation, I can add a new value here. It's going to be, let's see, what's the best way to say it? Newly focused part is newly focused part, yeah. Okay. Okay, let me think about this further. Has part dragged. So I was thinking of putting the logic inside of here for checking if it's a newly focused part. But that means this needs a different name. And the names that I come up with for this modified function imply to me that there's no good contract for this function that separates concerns correctly. So I could call this something like should select other part or something like that, but that's pulling the separation of concerns between the two modules in the wrong direction. That's moving logic that should be in the calling code. Because this code here shouldn't really know like everything that's going to happen in response to operations being canceled or clicks for other operations that don't have to do with it, things like that. So I'll leave this as has part dragged. Let's see, part UE manager. There it is. Okay. Okay, const is newly focused part equals part not equal this focus part. Okay, and here is it it's the last. Okay, so then back down to here. Yeah, let's just do this. Although, let's see. No, that should do it. Let me try that. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it. I do wonder why it... Oh. Okay, I don't quite got it doing things correctly. Because it's not going out to the head, and I know why. Because my thing is starting from the same place in its search every single time. So this honestly does need to be different logic for each of these two things instead of a function that gets called. So let's just put this back, kind of how it was. Boom. Okay. And here we can just delete that. Here we can return null. Okay. So this has to be like a loop that could go around. So for that, we say let part I equals. I gotta find. Gotta find that part inside of it. Okay, so find. It's gonna be like this: I parts find index. Or simpler, part A equals parts find index, and can I just pass in just the focus part, or is it going to need a predicate? You will need a predicate. Okay, cool. Part equals focus part. Okay. If part I equals -1, return, just return the focus part. Okay, otherwise, let's see, let, nah, you can do it without a for loop. Const stop part I equals part I. So I think it's gonna be like this. Do if plus plus part I equals part count, part I equals 0. Let's do while true. Okay, if part I equals stop part I, then we will return the focus part. Otherwise, okay. I don't think execution ever gets to here. Yeah, and that's fine. Okay, so that should probably work. What is this? Oh, yeah, this is no longer being used. Okay, see how well this goes. Yeah, but you're not getting the eyes now. Why is that? So let me just think through the logic before I go through the debugger. Find the next part of chords from the focus part. So if I click here a second time, I would have expected it to go to the head. Not the head, the eyes. But it just comes back. So we say if we get to the end, we loop back around. Part I, if it's not visible, skip it. Going back up to the top. Get the bounding rec. If it matches, return the part. Okay, I'm gonna have to step through. So I click here again. Kind of want to see what parts we got. Okay, that looks right. It's a little bit hard to see what this is. Okay, that's the head. Head, and then what do I think? Eyes? Okay, it's eyes. The mouth, and then nose. Okay, nose is currently selected. That would be part I. I'm expecting it to be set to 3. Yep. Okay, we'll say we'll stop on 3. And if I go ++, it's going to set it to 0. And that should end up selecting the head. I think I understand what's going on. Okay, so this will correctly set it to head. But when I click again, when it gets to find next part of chords, it's already going to be with the eyes selected. Oh no, it'll be with the nose selected again. So I think I need something where you start by looking for a match with what is already in focused. When you favor that, okay. Yeah, that would be it. Okay. Boy, this is a little bit tricky. A little bit tricky. Okay. So I'm trying to make changes that don't make a giant untenable mess that I can't come back and update easily. So if I've got all kinds of special casing weirdness, it's not good. So I could make it so that fine parted chords, which is what's getting called on the mouse down. Okay, so there. I could make it so it favors the currently selected part or focused part. So right now this is going to pick the nose on the mouse down. But that behavior, it doesn't make a nice contract. This name, fine parted chords, it's pretty clear how it's going to work. Let's do this. Part. Track part. And even this, I'm gonna take that out. Yeah, it's all right. So is part of chords, it's all right for it to imply that it must be visible. That's okay. So then I can come down here and I can say if is parted chords part XY turn bar, and then I can also go below and write the same code. Okay, so now that I've got this function, I can come back to my part UI manager, to find part at chords. So let's do this. You suck, bot. I don't know why don't have the friggin' moderation stuff I used to have here. But you suck. So what I'll just do, I guess, for the moment, is clear your garbage from my screen. And fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Go to the work screen and we clear this. And try to spend the smallest amount of time thinking about that. Okay, is parted chords. This focus part, and then we say X, click X, click Y. If it is, then we just do the focus part. Otherwise, we'll find the next part. Okay. Okay. So let's see if that does something. That is the behavior I want. Let's keep testing, see how it does. It's quite easy to regress on these things. Okay, this is pretty sweet. I think everything I'm setting out to do is working. Okay, let's check the undos. Working like a champ. Working like a champ. I love it. I love it. I love it. Alright, I think this is a great stopping point right here. I think I'm just gonna call this a session because I like to end with victory, and this has definitely been victory. The notes came together real fast. I like that a lot. And then something that was surprisingly difficult is done in a very clean and reusable way. That's this selection behavior when you click on multiple parts. So I didn't think I would spend that much time on the refinements to the selection. But I'm glad I did. I'm glad it's all working. So that's great. Okay, I do see one little bug. The nose up here. When the nose is selected, it is choosing extra up here. So there's like some kind of issue with that. Click that, click that, click that. Let me see if I can fix that. Then I'll call that an end of the session. Oh, it's probably going to be this right here. There we go. That was easy. Okay. All right. Ending the session on victory. I like the session quite a bit. I like hanging out with folks here. All right, let's call it a session. Stopping the stream. Stopping the stream.